Hey Gem family, welcome to October 2019. This is a month, I'm pretty into the energy of this month, I have to say. I like it because it is focused, it is clear, it is truth seeking. It is truth delivering, right? So this is not one of those months. Sometimes we get into months where it's a little bit more about the mystic. It's about the coded messages. It's kind of about diving deeper into the mystery and falling back into where we don't have answers. And, that's a very valuable practice. But there are certain months that show up in the year that have this investigative, clear-cut, focused, driven energy, and October is definitely one of those months, with the caveat that we are also preparing for November, which is a very mystic month in many ways. And what's really interesting for gems in October, this is a month of the year that I think it's always important for you guys to pay attention to because, Libran energy, which we will be in for a lot of the month with the sun in Libra, is your fifth heart creative heart chakra energy, right? So like opening up that creative part of yourself. Quite literally the heart has really high magnetic field. It's just electromagnetic field. It's a very powerful organ, and so Libra season highlights that for you. Then we move into Scorpio season. That is also highlighting your physical feedback. Your physical body, your health, your well-being, how your body is speaking to you. And this is one of those times in the year where you can get a lot of information about what's working in your life via your body telling you stuff. So this can be just a really easy way to clarify what's working and what's not. And the thing that's going on here is, yes, Pluto's going direct, first of all, on October 3rd in Capricorn, which is your 8th house of transformation, right? And Pluto is the planet of transformation. So Pluto's been in your 8th house of transformation this whole time, which is really fascinating. But so you're getting some clarity there with any deep healing you've needed to be doing. Also what's going on though is energy is already starting to move into Scorpio early on in the month. Mercury moves into Scorpio on the 3rd. Venus moves into Scorpio on the 8th. And then we're quickly heading into Scorpio season later in the month, and we have a new moon in Scorpio, sun in Scorpio, and Mercury retrograde begins in Scorpio all at the end of the month. So tons of energy is getting poured into your 6th house of your physical body, your day-to-day routines, and how you serve. I'm going to start shuffling. Right? So you always have such an interesting relationship to Scorpio. I know there's a lot of Gemini-Scorpio relationships out there. They are all around. You guys have a really interesting connection to Scorpio energy. It highlights your investigative intensity, and it really brings that up. But because, especially if you're a Gem rising, your body is going to be talking this month, big time. Before we get into all of this, there are a few things to keep in mind about this month as well, just as a collective. Judgment and Queen of Swords popped out. Clarity. Clarity. This is not a wishy-washy month whatsoever. But we have a full moon in Aries, and the full moon in Aries is always kind of an intensive illuminator. For you, it's going to have to do with your community, your friendships, your relationships on that larger scale. So pretty powerful time. Like I said, Aries full moon tends to be a very impactful moon as far as taking big, bold steps forward, right? So that's going to be on the 13th, and then we have a new moon in Scorpio in your 6th house of your body, your well-being on the 27th. And then the one thing to keep in mind is most of October, we don't have the Mercury retrograde beginning until the 31st, but Mercury is going to be prepping. It's the pre-shadow phase, and often we can find that we are going over things in our head. We are going over what is working. We are going over what we want to put in that travel satchel, right? Aries, the Emperor. And what we don't, what do you really want to carry in that bag on your back? Some things are really going to work. And those things are going to be very clear this month. High Priestess. You guys are kind of diving between two states, I'm noticing with these cards. On the one hand, there's all this like directional, let's go, here we go. On the other hand, there's a lot of mystic diving deep. So finding a balancing point between those two. Hanged Man. Another spiritual card. It's going to be maybe a part of that trick, getting that feedback from your heart chakra and your physical body. listening into that and then taking the correct actions. Because one thing I will say is that Seven of Wands. This month is about inspired action. This is a month about clarifying, clearing the path, connecting the dots, making it all come together. Nine of Cups. Gems, you have the range of the rainbow of states here, I'm telling you. The note that I had, before we get into these cards, I'm pulling one more and then we'll start talking. Three of Swords. Okay. The note that I had for you is that big, deep, clear messages are rising up from all the things you've learned since, I mean, honestly, the last year. This is kind of a month for you specifically, Gems, where you were October, November last year. This month helps you see it, right? It helps you see, culminate, collect, and move from those messages. And your physical feedback, your heart feedback, all of that energy moving through those parts of your chart are helping you to put the pieces together and to actually find some release and some freedom. And that release and freedom is actually helping you to take actionable steps, right? It's like a lot of times we want change in life. We want that career change. We want that relationship change. We want that opportunity that opens a door. But we don't really see clearly what it is in our patterning or in our life that we need to change. And a lot of times the connection between one shift and one thing isn't clear as to how that's going to affect this other part of your life, right? If you decide to start eating this way or having less of something or going to bed at a certain time, how is that going to affect, this part of your life? And the connection can't be really clear, but this month there is a connectivity going on with those dialogues. So we start with this judgment. Pluto going direct is very much judgment energy. Pluto is the transformer, and he's been retrograde since April. And he goes retrograde half the year every year in Capricorn, 8th house of transformation for you guys, so extra potent. And the thing with Pluto going direct is that we take everything that we were really working with underground, beneath, behind the scenes all these last months, and we get to take it and move forward. We get to take all that we learned listening into our shadow and move forward. And we also find release and forgiveness from the past. So if there has been something that has been haunting you, whether it was something you felt you should have done in your career or your creative life or in a relationship or in something that was lost over the last year, this month you may be finding there is a release of pressure, like quite physically on your chest, to allow you to release that. And that is one of those things you can't rush. I think we always think, I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be on my healing. I'm going to be on my journey to get things done. So, I'm going to do that and I'm going to release this. I'm going to release it. Dang it, I'm going to release it. But the natural rhythm of when that actually releases, the week that you start to wake up and you notice that pressure isn't there and there is a release, it's kind of one of those things that comes when it comes. You can't rush the process. You can't put it on a calendar and know when it's going to come. And judgment is that sense of release. Now, with that sense of release comes a huge wave of information for you guys. Okay, so that's the way that when I checked in with Gem Energy, it was like, well, it's like opening a floodgate of realizations, information, opportunities, and knowing. Right? Clarity of vision is very strong this month. Even with Mercury beginning the pre-shadow phase, there isn't confusion going on at all about how you are envisioning. And once again, Mercury is your ruling planet, so you feel Mercury retrograde a little more poignantly than other signs, but the information is good. It is clear. It is directive, right? Like Queen of Swords and the Emperor matched with the High Priestess and the Hanged Man. What's kind of wild about this is this is the actionable, externalized, in the world energy, right? And this is the spiritual counterpart to it. This is the energetic counterpart to it. You need both. And both are going to be working with you. You do not have to choose one or the other. You don't have to choose to be in hermit mode or in high productivity mode. A lot of times the ideal state is to be able to find a way to have a dialogue with those in your daily life, in your weekly life, right? In your routines, in your habits, which Scorpio energy really highlights for you. Now, Queen of Swords and Emperor are visionaries, right? Queen of Swords, very Gemini in many ways. Like Gems, when you guys have an opinion or when you want to express something or something with clarity, You get into this Queen of Swords energy. You know, Queen of Swords is the boundary queen. She's the communicator. She will say what she needs. She will see it and she will say it, right? She doesn't hold back from making those deliberate choices. And the same with the Emperor, honestly. The Emperor is also kind of ruthless in his choices and moving on things. You know, he doesn't sit back and say, oh, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. Right? These are very action-oriented energies. And a lot of times these cards come up when the fog has lifted. When something clicks. It makes sense. Right? And once again, you can't rush this process. You can't pre-know it before your time. You can't pre-feel into it before your time. But there's something about you now being able to say, yep, I know what I need to do next. I know where I need to close that door and leave that junk closet behind. I got what I need. That's very much this energy. And maybe you have energies like this. You know, you have another air sign or you have an Aries in your life where this dialogue is happening and they're helping you see that clarity, but this is also you feeling empowered. Now, you're getting that information not from a whole bunch of other people doing stuff, actually. Once again, your heart chakra and your whole physical body can give you so much information. This is a fantastic month if you ever have like anxiety or waves of fear or melancholy or any kind of emotive state. Do a body scan, notice what it feels like, describe it, you know, give it some, just pay attention to what that is, because the High Priestess and the Hanged Man are very reflective, right? They are not about external action. They are not focused on manifestation, right? They know that the goal is not to just have the things. Because why we want to have the things is we want to feel the emotive quality of that good stuff, right? But if we can tap into the emotive quality of what we have now, then the manifestation stuff isn't as interesting or necessary, and then it comes to us, right? So the High Priestess and Hangman are very much in that logic. They are not very interested in the physical manifestation. It's very much, you know, Abraham Hicks is like, whenever Abraham is talking through Esther, says, you know, we know you guys really like this manifestation stuff. We don't really get that because we're just always in this frequency. That's very much these energies right here. They're like, I don't really get why you're needing to have these results. But that wisdom, it's really interesting when you fall back into that wisdom, it makes it very easy to act in a Queen of Swords Emperor way. A lot easier to act in this way than if you try and do this first. So it's interesting because those cards came out first, right? And then we get pulled into the spiritual. But I think the thing is, this is a dialogue for you guys. And finding that sweet spot where you are releasing, surrendering into the alignment here, the quiet here, the rest. Once again, your body is also going to be healing and doing some really deep healing, which is releasing you emotionally from whatever it is that was holding you before. And that's also allowing you to move forward. So there's something really big going on here, Gems, with, like I said, you healing from something that has been kind of haunting you for a while. And for everybody, that's going to be different, you know, whether it's something that it's just sad, it's gone, to something that you feel you should have done differently, or any range of things could be going on here. But I'm noticing that with your themes right now, it's like, once again, putting this all in context so that you see why it needed to be the way it needed to be, and like really seeing it, not just your logical mind being able to like put it on paper and show you, yeah, of course it makes sense, emotively understanding why. And that's where these next three cards come in. The Seven of Wands, yes, it can be about competition, feeling competitive, feeling a little bit like, you know. But the Seven of Wands is also about conquering something, mastering something, coming to a point where you've risen above it enough that you can now look at it from a new standpoint and be very deliberate in your actions to move forward, right? There is kind of this return to your mutable air ability to go for it, to move forward. And really to do it from that heart place, not just do it to go through the motions of being extroverted and talkative and being able to move, but really doing it because you feel like doing it, right? Now it's interesting, these last two cards, because the Nine of Cups and the Three of Swords, right? These are quite polar opposites. The Nine of Cups is about feeling ease emotionally, feeling held, feeling seen, feeling consistency, feeling wellness emotively. Taking it easy, kicking back, just feeling like it's all taken care of. I'm feeling great. The Three of Swords is about the pain we feel when we repeat cycles over and over again, with the pain we feel when we hold on, the pain we feel when we're in situations that aren't serving us, right? So these are truly oppositional energies. And the message that's coming through here for me, just with all of these energies, right, is like between the energetic and the deliberate action conversation, it's like you're parsing through which is which. What's working for you? Because like when you hold on to something, when you feel you need to fix something, when you feel like you need to check in with something, is it bringing this kind of Nine of Cups energy, or is it bringing the Three of Swords back around and back around and back around? There's something about coming to a head with this. Something has to be resolved and released. Now let me pull a final card from my Cosmic Tarot and see what's coming out for your concluding message for the end of this reading. Something has to be released and dissolved from your physical body and your emotional body. Princess of Pentacles. Princess of Pentacles, you haven't had really any earthy energy in this reading whatsoever. But you think about Pentacles and you think about the suit of Pentacles. It's about our investments. Be very conscious what you're investing in this month, because what you invest in October, because it's a clarifying month, because it's a directional month, it's a very important month. It just pivots everything. Everybody's life is pivoting and cohering, setting us up for January and February, basically. So being deliberate about the seeds you plant this month is a really wise thing to do. Because I tell you what, you will be having big, bold experiences in January and February that you can only have if you utilize this energy to release this month. Wise physical and emotive practices are investments in your future. And they're investments in the now. They're investments in the now and feeling well in the now. For sure. Okay, you guys, I really love this reading. There's so much positive energy here. And I do feel that kind of lightning strike clarifying moment coming in for you where it's like, oh, I see this now. I understand. Something coheres that needed that moment in the sunshine to cohere so that you can move on life in the way that feels good to you. And I'm really excited about that. I'm also really excited to announce that my Patreon is up and running. I will be adding new material every single week. There's going to be weekly written astrology discussions so you get a sense of what the week is all about. I'm going to be talking big transits, Pluto going direct, Mercury going retrograde in Scorpio in November, Jupiter moving into Capricorn. All of that's going to be coming up. There's going to be a lot more about my personal journey behind the scenes. So if you're interested in joining me on Patreon, I would really love to see you over there. You're going to get access to all of that as soon as you join. You can also, I have a handful of sessions still available in October, November, and early December. If you're interested in working with me in 2019, I suggest hopping on over to my website, booking yourself in. I will leave that link in the description box below. You can also find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I would love to see you over there. I'm always writing and concocting something on Instagram. And of course, PinkLune, one of my besties, her shop is so beautiful. You never know what she's going to have, so keep an eye on her. I will leave all of that info in the description box. You know how to get in touch with me. You know how to contact me. You know where to find me. All the goodies. Please subscribe and like and hang out with me more. I love having you gems here. I hope you have a beautiful month of healing, clarity, and new beginnings. And I will see you in November. Mwah.